Grant, should we start with Marcus Maddison? How is he?
He's okay. He's worked hard with the physio for the past week now. He was out in the grass today. He joined in at the end of the session, so Marcus will be fine for the weekend.
Is that a bit of a selection dilemma for you then? Because of course you won comprehensively at the weekend, so do you change a winning team?
It's a dilemma, yeah, but whether I change the team or not, I'm not going to say here, really. It's definitely a dilemma. You know, he's a big player for us, but you know the boys did perform well in the last game, so it's a good dilemma. It's good to have everybody. Well, apart from the injured ones, everyone available for selection. So, and that's what we're going to need now coming into a busy Christmas period.
Yeah, and that 10 role. I mean, obviously we saw Taylor play it, didn't we, the weekend? Then Moncur came on and looked very good, very sharp in that role as well. And with Maddison, you've got so many options there.
We have, and we've got Brad Inman that can play there. We've got Nathan Nutter that can play there. We've got Callum Chettle that can play there. We've got Dale Nalby that can play there. And we've got a lot of options. So it's good options though, and it's about picking the right team on the day. Everybody's in a good place at the minute. I was pleased with the application of the 23s in midweek at Cheltenham. So it's a good options to have and get into another tough game and a busy schedule coming up. Yeah,
I was going to ask you about the 23s game because obviously you haven't been happy recently, haven't you, with the lack of application, I guess, and you've been quite critical, but you saw what you wanted to see, did you, from those lads that could be banging on the door to be involved in the first team squad?
Yeah, I think it's important that you approach them games. I spoke to the boys before the game. I said, this is not a development game. This is a game for you to try and get back in the first team. Make my decision hard for me. To leave you out, really. It hasn't been over recent weeks. So the application was good. They could have easily won the game. The chances, the penalties they missed, and the chances they had in the game, but they didn't. But they didn't get beat, which is a good thing. So the application was good from them all, and it's exactly what we need. Like I say, with the games coming thick and fast over Christmas and January, I was pleased with that. So a few of them have put themselves into contention to definitely be in the squad or on the bench on Saturday. And if I need them, then I would have no drama putting them on the pitch.
On to Saturday then, you come up against a familiar foe, don't you, in Carl Robinson, a man you know very well.
Yeah, we've obviously played against each other twice this year. He was at MK Dons in the cup game. So he's gone to a new club. I think Charlton's unbeaten in 5 in the league. Carl's had 2 draws in his first 2 league games, so it's going to be a tough game. They've got a good squad, a big budget, a massive club for this league, so we're under no illusions. It's going to be a really, really tough game, but we're in a good place at the minute. We're performing well. We're getting some good results. We just got to make sure we keep the foot on the accelerator now. There's nobody slacking off around here. Everyone's bang on it. The players are willing to fight for every cause now, and one thing we do know is if you keep yourselves around it, and playoff campaigns that have been promoted, that if you can keep yourself in and around it right up until the end of January, then you've got a chance, and that is our aim.
There's obviously been a lack of stability at Charlton, hasn't there? I think it's 7 managers in just under 3 years now, but you touched on it there. You look at their squad, they have strength in depth. They're a very, very strong squad for this division.
I mean, you just look at their strikers. You've got Nicky Josie, you've got Josh McGuinness, Lee Novak, Lockman, who they're talking about. There's a lot of Premier League clubs looking at him. Then they've got blended it in with experience in terms of Johnny Jackson, Andrew Crofts, who had played here, and Roger Johnson. We went to watch the game on Tuesday night, was on the bench for them. So they've got a lot of experience, blending in with a lot of youth and players who have played in this league. So it's going to be a tough game. But like I said to you before, there's not much in this league. If we're on our game, we're as good as anyone in the league. If our intensity's good, we're as good as anyone in the league. If we step off it like we did in the first half Saturday, then anyone can beat us. So that's down to myself, my coaching staff, and my players to go into the game in the right mentality and the right mindset. And if we do, we've got a chance.
And you've done that away from home, haven't you, this season? You've had some wins at some tough old places. Obviously, I'm thinking Rochdale the first day of the season, but Northampton, I know they've dipped it a little bit, but local derby showed you had the steel for that as a good sort of no fear mentality. I know at home, but particularly away recently.
Yeah, no, we've enjoyed it on the road. We've picked up some good results. one thing I know about this squad is that they never give up. They never know when they're beat. I think we've done it 4 or 5 times this year where we've snatched the last minute equaliser, or we've scored late on. Even Saturday we scored late on to get the 5th goal. So they go right to the end. Their fitness levels are good. Second halves never worry me. It's the starting the games, and making sure the mindset's right, starting the games, which it had been, to be fair, up until Saturday. But we just got to make sure that, I think I did say to you after the game, apart from probably from the Millwall and the Bolton game, where I thought there were 2 complete performances, we haven't done it. We've played in spits and spats, if you like. We've been good for half an hour, then we've been average for 15, and then, that's the way we've been, sort of thing. And to see that we're actually still up there in 6th, and we haven't even get into 4th gear yet. And that's what myself and Lee and the staff have been telling the players, and they realise that. We had a 20-game review the other day in terms of where we're at, what we've done in these 10 games that we did the previous 10 games. Our points per game's gone up to 1.9, which is good. But because of the slow start sort of thing, we are a little bit in behind for where I'd like us to be. We need to get it up there again. 2.1, 2.2 the next 10 if we're going to be serious. So the players are well aware of that.
And the chairman's here at the moment, so I assume there are meetings going on about January. We're nearly there, aren't we, into the window? So you're getting your heads together and writing your lists down, etc.
No, there's no list. It's a few. I've told the chairman. I said, listen, these are the players who could improve us if anything happens in terms of anyone moves on. There's I think, when you're not in the team, you can get a bit disillusioned in terms of why you're not in the team and things like that. And maybe we have a few of those in the building. Maybe they need to play games. I showed the chairman yesterday, and I think it scared him a little bit that we've got 32 pros actually signed to the football club, whether they be on loan or including people like Luke James and Aaron Williams and Jordan Nicholson and Harry Anderson, and boys who are out on loan. That we've got like 32 pros, so it's way too many. I don't want to be having to deal with 30, 31, 32 players all the time. Ideally, I'd like a squad of 22, 23 pros, and it keeps yourself, insane. It's just sane instead of insane, if you know what I mean. So we'll try and move. We'll try and move a few out to try and get them some games over the January period, and I think it's important for those players to do that, because I'll be fair with them. I ain't going to speak to anybody just yet, but I'll be fair to them in January and let them know that game time is going to be limited here, and if we can get a few bodies in that's going to improve us, and that's the key thing, improve us. I ain't bringing bodies in for the sake of bringing bodies in. It's happened too many times here, so I'm clued into that. I know who I want to bring in the building, and I know who I'd like to go and get some games. Not that they're not good enough, they're just not getting game time. So that's something for January, and at present we're only worrying about trying to get a result at Charlton.
Do you feel the club has to learn from a few mistakes in previous January windows? Because I guess there is a feeling, isn't there, this is your last chance before the run into the end of the campaign, so you want to do the right business, you want to get it right to make sure you challenge for those playoffs or better. But as you say, you can't be impatient and just bring anything into the club, because that can be a hindrance more than a help.
It is a hindrance, to be honest with you. You're bringing new players in, you're trying to blood them into the group that's already here. We've put hours upon hours in terms of coaching into these players who are at the building at the minute. They're buying into what we're doing, they're improving, the results are improving. You bring, I'm not saying we will, I know we won't, but you bring 5, 6, 7 bodies in January, it kills you completely. And that's one thing that's not going to happen here in January. If 1 or 2 or possibly 3 come in that can improve us, great, and include the goalkeeper in that. So we ain't going overboard in terms of January already, and we want to make sure we don't make the same mistakes that we have in previous years. Because these players come into the building, they expect to play, and then when they don't play, you've got problems on your hands. So we've got a good squad here. I did my business in the summer. I was pleased with it. Probably 85% of the signings that I made, have made an impact. Some of them haven't had a chance. So it's, the business was done in the summer. It just needs probably fine tuned. Whether we need an experienced body around the camp is something we've spoke about. The goalkeeping situation and have a look at covering for Jack Baldwin. So they're the main priorities for me, and hopefully we can get that sorted.
And talks, I think, still ongoing with McGee and Spurs about trying to get that one done. That's obviously a big priority for you.
Yeah, it's been ongoing. I've left it with Barry and the chairman to sort out. Obviously, the transfer stuff. I've told him I want Luke, so they can sort that out. Luke wants to stay here. There's he's told me again this morning. He wants to stay. He wants to get it sorted. He just wants to concentrate on his football, and that's what I want him to do. We've given Luke a chance at this football club in terms of he's come to the building. When he came, no one had heard of him. I'd watched him 3-4 games. I knew what he was capable of. He's come here, he's been given a chance, and he's in the public domain because of his performances and because of the help he's received here from coaching staff, Tiles. So loyalty does go a long way in football, and Luke's, he knows that. He wants to stay here, he wants to help us, and one thing I did say to him this morning is you're only as good as your goalkeeper, and we've got a good one here.